Hi everyone, welcome to modules inside of Python. We're going to be working with modules going forward to help allocate our memory and just make our coding life easier. But I just wanted to describe how you can make these work and why they're useful. So on the left side, we'll have our module names here. There's a description here about each of them. Essentially what these do is kind of automate some of the code that we need. For instance, OS deals with file support systems. But I want to show us how we can make our own and how to import some of these too. So I have a pretty basic definition here. It's called num raise. It takes in an x and an n, so two values, and it just returns x raised to the power of n. So if I do 5 and 2, I should get 25. Try it here. Okay, so that's working okay. But what I could also do here to kind of automate code, because this has probably already been done for us, is I could do something like import math. And what I could do now is use this function called pow that's inside of math. And let me just go ahead and run our code here. So I'll do num raise 5 and 2. This is my custom one. I can do something now, math.pow, and I get, this gives me a float back, but essentially it's the same thing. So math.pow is something that is imported from the math module. Now what we could do as well is if we don't want to use all the .math stuff, we could do something like this, where we say from math import pow. So import a specific function from math. And now what I can do, instead of having to type out math.pow, I get to type out pow 5 and 2. Okay. So that's essentially what modules are. The import math is useful. If you prefer using math dot, you could do that way too. You could do something here with wildcard called from math import all. And we don't usually recommend this just because it might import things that you'll be using later. Like maybe you'll have a function called pow that you need to use later. You don't want to import it or something like that. So just be aware that using this could help sometimes, but this is going to import a lot of functions because the math module is pretty large. Okay. What I'm going to do really quick is use this other one I created here. It's called example.py. And what I want to do here is just, I'm going to define print, I'll just say something like print message. This is going to really take in anything, but I'm just going to say something like print. This is the end of the function, something like that, okay? So what I can do now inside of my previous piece of code that I had down here is I can actually import my example. Okay. So now you could see here, if I type out example, it's a module example, and it's inside of all my folder libraries. And the reason that it's importing is because example.py is inside the same folder directory as the rest of my items. Now, what we could do as well is something like from example import print message. Now, what will this do for me? Well, what if I wanted to do something down here, such as print message, and I could call it like this. And now you could see here, this is the end of the function. And I'm actually just, I'm going to go ahead and say print num raise, like so. I'll get my 25, and this is the end of the function. And now let's just say that I wanted to put an exclamation point inside of my other code. When I run it over here, I'll get the exclamation point. Okay. So there's when you learn later, there's a bunch of different ways you can actually build an application using these different constructors and approaches to development. But it's very helpful to modularize your code just because in this example, it's very bare bones. You wouldn't do this. But let's just say that you have 600 lines of code already in here. You could probably offset some of the work over here, something like printing messages and doing additions, and then kind of clean up your code on this side. Good. Great.